Welcome everybody. This is going to be as fast a video as I can make on how to build a complete website out of WordPress using WordPress as your basis. WordPress is known best as a blogging platform, and indeed it does come up, when you initially install it, set up to be just a simple blogging platform. And with the blog as your homepage and stuff like that. But what we're going to do is we're going to design pretty much the skeleton of the site in just a few minutes of an entire website. And what we're doing is like building a house that has the rooms all built. Now there's nothing in the rooms yet, and the rooms aren't decorated yet. So what you put in the rooms, that would be like the content of your house. And then the decorating would be the design part, like modifying your theme or selecting a theme that's going to be the decorative parts of the site that make it look nice. But initially we're just going to get the skeleton of the site up so that you have a complete site all ready to add content to and then to add decorative elements to, okay? And do the design work. Okay, so the first step though is to do some planning. And to do the planning, I'm going to use a program called FreePlane, and it's a mind map program. You can get FreePlane by typing into a search engine FreePlane download and select the FreePlane at sourceforge.net link or the download link. The download link will take you right to SourceForge. Simply get the latest version and set it up. Right now, when I made this video, it's at 1.2.2.20. So it's a really stable program, and I highly recommend it. So with the mind map, you kind of want to use that to do your pre-planning. And the way you do it is that you start out by giving your thing a name, and then you start adding pages that you're going to have. And I add a few pages, and then I decide, well, wait a minute, I'm going to make these my menu items. So but yeah, I'll have articles about cameras and photography and color correction and resizing, and I'll have a disclaimer section. And I want the disclaimer in my footer menu, so let's put this other stuff in the main menu. And so I'm going to move my things so they're in the main menu, and make one called footer menu, put my disclaimer in there, and put my contact us in the main menu, and add a terms in the footer. And I guess I went on volunteers and went on affiliates. And then I'll make a sidebar menu that has pretty much the articles. I'll just copy by selecting up here. I'll copy this by saying copy, and then click on this and say paste. As you can see, copy and paste. So you can move whole nodes and make copies. And so that's what I'll do with that, as you can see. So there we have it. All right, so now I've got a pretty good layout of what the site's going to look like, okay? With a main menu, footer menu, sidebar menu, and these various pages. So these are the pages right in here. These are repeats of, but in fact, you know what? I think I'll put even more in my sidebar. I'll put a thing on blog categories. That way I'll have something on the categories that I have in the blog. And let's see, hit insert and make one of them be tutorials. One be opinions and reviews. So you get the idea. I'm having different sections for what the blog categories will be. Thoughts. So, all right. So these are all things now that I've planned out. I know what kinds of things I'm going to have on my site and what pages I'm going to need to create. All right, so now that I've got that ready, I've got a guide and I've done my planning, I can now go into WordPress and start designing those things. So let's log in. It initially takes you to the dashboard. If you've got some updates to do, as I do, go ahead and do them. Select all. This one is just Jetpack, and plug them in. Do any updating that's needing to be done right away, just in case there's something that could be messing with your layout, or could be adding features to the layout. Okay. So as you see, the Jetpack's pretty much the only plugin we have. The Akismet plugin comes built in, and you have to go activate that by actually going and getting a number. So if it's just for a private website, the activation is free. You activate it, go to their website, and here you click on sign up for an Akismet API key. Okay, and then you go into the configuration thing and you save the key that you've got. It's very cheap to have the Akismet if you're a commercial site. And what Akismet does is it keeps people from using your comments section to spam you, to add comments that have nothing really to do with your site. They're just people that are trying to sell stuff or get, they've been hired perhaps to improve the SEO, the search engine optimization for somebody, and they're putting fake links to somebody else's site in your comments, and just kind of gaming the system. Well, Akismet helps stop that. So it's highly recommended that you go ahead and go through the process of getting the special API key and pasting it into the config. All right, but in the meantime, let's get back to building the site. Now you have posts and you have pages, okay? And we're going to add some pages. So let's right away, let's hit add new. And I'm going to add one called home. Now there already is one called home in the original setup, but that's just showing the blog post at this point. We're creating a home page that's actually going to be a page that we can modify and make look like a page however we want. So there we go. Now we have the home page, and let's see, go through my thing of what, look at my my outline. An about page, an articles page, blog, and contact us. So make about and publish. Mind you, see, I'm not adding anything to any of these pages. I'm just creating them. About, contact us. Okay, add new. Articles. And one is also called, in the articles, we have cameras for Leica and Canon, so we make them cameras. And that would be like an intro page talking about what kinds of cameras you have. And no plugging. I'm not paid to use Leica or Canon is this. I'm not advertising. But there you have it. Oops, there we are. As you see, I'm moving pretty quick, but this is literally how long it'll take you to do similar. So let's look at our thing. Photography, we'll have color correction, cropping, and resizing. So publish, add new. So this is in real time. Now I'm doing it in real time rather than doing a pause and then, what was the third one? Color correction, cropping, resizing. I can't think and talk at the same time, apparently. I'm doing it in real time so that you really get a feel for the fact that this is an entire website that's being set up just this quickly. Okay. All right, so let's see. And, and I'll need my blog page. I've got the about, and then my footer menu items. So we have blog, and under blog we'll be adding some categories for that. Terms. Disclaimer. And you can borrow other people's terms and disclaimers quite freely. Many people have them. Google really wants you to have them nowadays, especially if you're using AdWords. I had one on volunteers. And one on affiliates. There we go. So that covers my footer menu. So let's take a look. Yes, indeed. Disclaimer, terms, volunteers, affiliates. I got my photography and cameras thing, the blog, contact us, articles, etc. Okay, so we're now done with this. Now we have to go in here and do some other things, some business. But we did talk about having some categories. So let's go ahead and add these categories. And what you do is you first you make a new category. And everything defaults right now is uncategorized. But we decided to have some categories, the blog categories of tutorials, opinions and reviews, and thoughts. I'll just select that. So we have tutorials, and you simply select that and add a new category. You can add description and parent and stuff like that and get pretty fancy. What was the others? Opinions, reviews, and thoughts. And lastly, there we go. All right. I think you have to leave the uncategorized in there, because that's just in case you forgot to assign a category to something. It gets the uncategorized thing. All right, now very important. We'll go to settings, and let's go to privacy first. While we're building our site, we're going to ask search engines not to index the site. Okay? So let's go ahead and click that radio button and say Save Changes. Now don't forget to come back here after you're done adding all your content and designing it, and you're all ready to launch. Come back and switch this back to allow search engines to index the site. So make a note of that. It's very important that search engines be able to find you. Okay. Now the second thing is under the Reading tab. So we just came from Privacy. We're going to Reading under Settings. And this is where the real magic happens. If you go to the site as it stands now, you've got your home page is the blog page. And they also had a sample page because it was set up in the original WordPress setup to be a blogging platform. And then you could have some extra pages where you had static content like your About page, Contact Us page, and stuff like that. Well, we're reversing that now. We're making the home page be a static page, so it's a landing page, and the blog's its own thing. Now you can use blogs as like articles pages, for instance, and do categories to control which articles people see. Okay, but we made it so that it's a landing page for the articles, and then we'll have menu items coming off of this as drop downs. At the moment, because we haven't made a menu, custom menu, it's just showing every one of the pages that we've created. All right, so let's click this and go back to how we make that conversion. Again, we go to Settings and Reading. Here we are. And click here where it says a static page, select below. And we're going to select what our front page will be, which will be the home page that we created. And the posts page will be the one we call blog. Now what will happen is we don't actually have to ever put anything on that blog page that we created, because it's going to replace the contents with posts that are made from the posts section. Okay. The home page will simply be our landing page of the wpdemo.ncmarketers.com in this case. So don't forget to hit Save Changes. And now we're going to go build our menus. So under Appearance, you go to the Menus. And as I pointed out, there's no menu at the moment. It automatically generates just a menu system that consists of all of the different items, all the pages that you've added. And I could have gotten there faster. In this case, though, we're going to actually create a custom menu. So let's go here and create this menu, main menu, and hit Create Menu. Now it's got a name. If I go down here to all of my different things, here's my pages. And I'm going to say Select All to make it easy, and then deselect these that are going to go just in the footer menu. Everything else is going to go in the main menu that we have in here. So click on Add to Menu, and you'll see we get everything all of a sudden right there. Okay. Now let's put it in the order that we'll be having it. So we've got our home page. It's already, actually we need the home page. View all, please. There we go. To add this to. There we are. Oh, actually that might not be one we want. Let's see. Where does that go to? Yeah, let's remove that. What I want is the one that's here. This is the actual page that we created, that we've assigned. All right. Now let's move this to the top, because we want that to be in the first position. And you see these pick up and drag around. And what did we say we're going to have our layout? We have a home, about, articles, blog, and contact us. So home is about. Okay. Oops. There we are. And you go up there, please. Articles, blog, contact us. And then under articles, we have our two categories there. We have cameras. So what you do to make a sub menu is you drag it to the right a little bit so it's indented. So we have cameras, and we also have photography, our two sub menus, and then we have sub menus under those. For cameras, we've got the Leica, so indent so it's to the right of cameras. I hope you're seeing that clearly. And drag this one so it's there. And under photography, come now, we have our different topics that we're going to cover. So again, you just drag it to the right so it's an indent. Cropping and resizing. There we have it. So now click Save Menu. And then under here, under Primary Menu, select Main Menu and hit Save. Now when you go to look at the site, you'll see it's got the home, it's got the about, it's got the articles with cameras and submenus, photography. Let's just scroll this down a little bit. And 3 items. Okay, so the submenus all work. And you get your blog and your contact us page. So we already have built the skeleton of an entire site, as you can see. And so what else is there to do if you've got this much done? Well, we still wanted to add a widget. I'll explain what they are in just a second. But let's make, because we're going to have a sidebar menu and we're going to have a footer menu. So let's make those two more menus. Let's go in here and click the little plus sign that's right there next to the main menu now. And that allows us to create another menu. Give it a name, footer menu, and click create menu. And come down here and we'll take these 4 items that we hadn't used yet and add them to the menu. There we have it. And none of these are submenus of each other, so looks like that's probably all right. I'll just change the order of things. And like that. Put in our original order that we planned on. Hit save menu. Okie dokie. And a sidebar menu we can also make. So let's go up here and click the red thing again. And we'll say sidebar menu. Create the menu. And this we were going to make to have the various photography types of things. So just check those. And we'll set that up to, let's quickly do this like this. Up. And then the cameras menu. There we go. And hit save menu. So now we have 2 menus. So now it's time to go into the widgets and take a look at what we've got available. Now here we have built in, we have a footer area 1, a footer area 2, and a footer area 3. Okay, so these are some optional widget areas. We have the main sidebar. It already includes search, recent posts, recent comments, archives, categories, and meta with your login and stuff. I'm going to remove this one. And I'm going to put in a new one, a custom menu, underneath the search. Here we go. And I'm going to select from the menus that we made, sidebar menu. Okay. And we'll call it articles. And hit save. Okay, so what happened on the site is we've now got, or now will have, I should say, a sidebar menu. But I haven't included the widgets yet in my layout, so I have to go in to Appearance, Theme Options, and make sure, well, I should have widgets showing actually. I don't know why I don't. Let's go ahead and see if saving changes and then moving back again will restore my widgets. For some reason I wound up with a 1 column, no sidebar setup. Alright, let's see if my widgets are back. And, well, they're not. And that's a little confusing. Well, normally you would wind up with widgets on the right side, but I've done something to take away my my widgets. I'm not sure what. So it says that they're there. Well, just to continue with what we were discussing, though, under footer area 1, we're going to add another custom menu and put it here. And footer menu is already selected, and say save. I'm just going to go take a quick look at the settings. That looks all right. general. And maybe that I have to, well, I will go into the last thing I wanted to show you. Now that you've done all of this, set up a custom structure based on post name. So click that, but then add a, let's see, the post name, numeric, there it is. So we want it to say post name and post ID. So I'm going to copy that post ID there. But I'm going to use post name as the first element and follow that with post ID. I didn't need that extra slash. This is better for the database to always have something that's a numeric item as the last item. It makes your WordPress run a lot faster. So this will be the URL that shows up here of your pages. And then hit Save Changes. Okay, and so I'm going to just see if I can get my widgets back by activating the old 2010 and then activating 2011 again. And see if I get my site repaired. Well, I don't. Oh, here they. Well, here's my terms, disclaimer, affiliates, and volunteers showed up down here. But none of my others are showing up. Well, that's a shame. We have a problem already. So I'm going to just activate the 2010 and see if it's something I did. Well, this is what it's supposed to look like. As you see, we have a sidebar menu on the right side. It has the cameras, you know, all your articles. And we've got these various items. We've got the terms, disclaimer, etc. And so this is what we were supposed to be getting. And I have to go repair the, because I changed themes, I've got to repair the menu. Whenever you do change themes, you usually have to come back and reassign this drop down right here, the primary navigation, because some themes have multiple menus that they can reassign. They'll have up to 3 or 5 different menus that are already built into the theme. So all I had to do is select main menu, and now you see I've got my main menu with my drop downs and flyouts there. And you see the changes that happened looks wise by changing themes. He said I wound up with some other things. All right, well, those were the primary things I wanted you to see. There are more. You can, as you explore the various modifications and customizations that you can do, you can change which header image you're going to have. For instance, we have it on, probably had it on random at that point. Make it so that our image is always that. As you see, now that's the image that is my site. You can upload anything, and they suggest what the best sizes would be to use. Different themes have different customizations that you can do. This one, they were saying 940. The newer 2010 theme suggests it be 1,000 wide, because it's made to be a wider theme. And you can preview themes before you go activating them by hitting the live preview, and it gives you a outline of what the site's going to look like. Okay, and I see that in all cases we still, in this theme, it doesn't give us the sidebars. Let's see if we do content on right. Hit save and activate. Well, my copy of this theme may be broken. Yeah, it's not giving me widgets at all. So something's wrong there. And I'll get to the bottom of it some other time. But for now, the 2010 theme, the original theme, is just fine. Now there's tons of themes you can use. When you go to install themes, it lets you really see many themes in many ways. You can select what kind of attributes you want to see in the themes. You can look at featured themes and see kind of a gallery of different themes. When you start messing with themes, the main thing to remember is you'll probably have to reassign your menus by reselecting what's in here and assigning the menu to the navigations. And you may have to reassign your widgets. Some themes lose the widgets. Okay, and they just kind of fall out. And oh, speaking of widgets, we were going to, just one last thing, we were going to add to our sidebar menu, we're going to add categories. And we view all categories, and we were going to have these categories be menus. So there we have it. And so now that menu would have those categories in it as well. And sure enough, there we have it. Opinions, reviews, thoughts, and tutorials. So clicking this would take you to blog posts. It would show you a list of blog posts with those categories. And these would take you to the articles and photography and cameras. Okay, well, that's been probably long enough to get you acquainted with the fact that you can get a lot done pretty quickly using WordPress and make a complete website that's, it's got all the layouts, got the menu. All you now have to do is add content and change your look and mess around with that. I would first play around with a copy of a kind of a throwaway site like I did here, making a subdomain and building WordPress in a subdomain to just kind of have a throwaway one that I could play around with, a sandbox, so to speak. And then finally add all of your you do everything that you just did that you got working to a real site. You may want to select a theme first, for instance. You may feel most comfortable starting right away with the look of the thing. Either way, the skeleton of the site, what I just showed you, building the skeleton, is done just as easily as what we just did, adding pages and then building menus. And then you can create some custom widgets using from appearance, using the widgets and take some custom menus that you've created and apply those to the various widgets that you've got available. Okay, so all right, hope that's really helpful, and leave some comments and ask questions in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. I always check in on these. I get notified whenever anybody leaves a comment on YouTube. So go to the YouTube page to view this and leave a comment there. Would be probably the most, the fastest way, because YouTube immediately tells me when I've got a new comment come in. Or you can add comments to this site in the comments section, and I also get notified there too. Alrighty, take care, and again, ask questions if you've got any, and I'll be happy to help. Bye-bye.